Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry I've been away so long, I've had a few technical issues. So this week's book is Dracula by Bram Stoker, and it has a 4-star rating on Goodreads. I may be slightly biased as I've always loved vampire fiction. Alone with the dead, I dare not go out, for I can hear the low howl of the wolf through the broken window. When Jonathan Harker visits Transylvania to help Count Dracula purchase a London house, he makes horrifying discoveries in his client's castle. Soon afterwards, disturbing incidents unfold in England. An unmanned ship is wrecked. Strange puncture marks appear on a young woman's neck, and a lunatic asylum inmate raves about the imminent arrival of his master. In the ensuing battle of wits between the sinister count and a determined group of adversaries, Bram Stoker created a masterpiece of the horror genre, probing into questions of identity, sanity, and the dark corners of Victorian sexuality and desire. I've always wanted to read Bram Stoker's Dracula. My mum has, for as long as I can remember, said Bram Stokes Dracula. I'm counting on her not seeing this. If you're fond of Latin, whether historically or classically, or in literature, then there's a good chance you'll like this book. I'm surprised when I started reading this book. I'm familiar with the story of Dracula, but I didn't realise that Bram Stoker's original Dracula was written as a series of diary entries, so it uses first-person narrators. Some familiar names appeared that I know from literature, such as John Harker and Van Helsing. And please don't think that I'm comparing Dracula and the Twilight Saga, but something that did make me laugh was that both 1900s vampires and Forever Teen vampires use the same excuse of, "Oh sorry, I've already eaten." A quote that appears quite early on in the book did make me laugh. I found the Count lying on the sofa reading. I'm sorry, my first thought was me. When I discovered that Dracula was written as a series of diary entries, I was slightly concerned about how much I might or might not enjoy it. Obviously, as I said, the whole novel uses first-person narrators, so in terms of identifying narrators, it's not unlike other books I've read which use more than one narrator. The chapters usually state at the beginning which character will be speaking. The narrators consist of John Seward, Jonathan Harker, and Van Helsing, all of whom are staying in Dracula's castle. The dialect of some of the characters is written how it's spoken, i.e. missing the G off of some ing verbs, missing certain syllables, which adds to the realism of the characters. I was pleasantly surprised to discover how much of what I know of the story of Van Helsing contributes to the story of Dracula. I found there were times I thought it was harder to read than others, simply due to the pace of the plot. There are some, what I like to refer to as filler chapters, or so I felt. Something I loved about Dracula is the fact that it's written about the original vampires from fiction, and so these vampires can do things like shapeshift, control the elements such as storm and fog, as the typical super strength and enhanced senses, but also necromancy and being able to communicate with animals, hypnotism. I'm sorry, I am a total nerd when it comes to vampire fiction, or is it fiction? There's the odd extract of quite raw Old English throughout this book, so I'd say depending on what you read and how much you read, you may or may not struggle with that. You guys know, obviously, I've read books since I was able to, so I don't really have issues with Old English, given the genres that I tend to read. I feel that any bookworm should be able to navigate the language in this book fairly easily, especially once you get used to some of the reoccurring sentence structure. Towards the end of the book, there was what I would call a significant romance plot twist. I had another put the book down and take a moment reaction. My jaw dropped, it came out of nowhere. Chapter 27 is the first mention of the whole vampire garlic myth, quote unquote, where one character simply states, "Oh, I can't abide by garlic." I consider Dracula to be a classic, and it's one I definitely recommend to vampire fiction fans. I will be reading it again soon, when I get a chance, given my to-be-read list. Due to the fact that I feel there might be more I'll notice, pick up on, and take note of a second time around. I think that concludes my review for Dracula. Like and subscribe. Join me next time where I'll be discussing Jenny Downham's You Against Me. Like and subscribe for more reviews.